Good morning, this is Mr. Lowry, and today's objective is 3.8b. We will analyze a realistic fiction by explaining the relationships among the major and minor characters. This was just another review of character traits. I know before we were talking about adjectives. Adjectives are words that describe things, like what color, what size, what shape, describes how things feel, how they look, how things behave, and how things sound. Adjectives, or character traits rather, are adjectives that describe a person, what their character is. Character traits are the character's actions, thoughts, feelings, and words. I was going to go over some character trait flashcards with my class. Remember also, we're reading a story that is a realistic fiction. It's realistic because, above all else, the characters act like real people. The animals also are going to act like real animals. You're not going to see animals talking like people do. Also, it's realistic because the setting is real. This is a real place in Cuba. It's the Parque Nacional Ciénaga de Zapata, or the National Park Ciénaga de Zapata, here where the family lives. The boy talks about going to Cienfuegos, this city nearby, because he wants to be an airplane pilot and he's fascinated with airplanes. But he's living in the park, which is far from a city or any airplanes or airport. Again, real pictures of Ciénaga. Ciénaga is a word that means swamp or wetlands. Lots of water. Yesterday in the video, we went over just looking for details to help us understand what kind of a relationship that Alejandro has with his father, with his parents. We know he spends a lot of time out here with his parents, or rather his parents spend a lot of time with him. They teach him a lot of things about what they know because they work as park rangers in this national park. Here, the kid is, again, he's a little upset because he wants to see airplanes and wants to be an airplane pilot. And his dad cheers him up here, patting him on the head and saying, "You'll fly someday, Ale." Ale is nickname. Here we're looking for details in the text to show how Alejandro gets along with his parents. And here's my example in paragraph 5, where I know that they sit out on the porch every night. So I can see that they're not watching TV, they're not doing different things, but they have a very tight relationship, spending a lot of time together. What does Alejandro want to be when he grows up again? Here's where he wants to go to Cienfuegos. He wants to see the airport. That's a problem because where he lives, there is no airport. There's hardly even any buildings or roads. So he's bored, even though there's all these awesome things going on in the Ciénaga. He's bored. And here's the first time we have it mentioned that he's going to go visit a friend of his who ends up being a very important secondary character. Not a major character, but a minor character who is also pretty important, which is the the clinic that he's going to see the doctor. And here he says, his parents tell him to stay on the path and be safe. Alejandro is off to see his friend, Dr. Fernanda. She studies Cuban crocodiles. Her clinic is the only thing in the swamp as exciting as airplanes. It's very important. Remember, because he was upset because he's thinking about airplanes. He doesn't want to be in the park or the swamp. Alejandro loves to listen to her talk about crocodiles. And here it says Dr. Fernanda is funny and helpful, and she always cheers up Alejandro. And look, he looks like he's pretty happy on the way there. Who is Dr. Fernanda again? What details can we find to explain Alejandro's relationship with Dr. Fernanda? Alejandro stays on the path, but he can see the gar zooming in the water on either side. The long, thin fish look like rockets. The slow shadow of a manatee startles him. It is harmless, but it's so big. And here, if you look at the illustration, here's the big manatee. It's harmless, but it's big. And these are the garfish that swim really fast. They're long and thin. He talks to the giant animal in the water. When I'm a pilot, I'll zoom through the air, he says, just like the gars zip through the water. He puts out his arms like wings and looks up at the drifting clouds. So there he's comparing himself to the gar in the water. What details on this page explain Alejandro's relationship with the animals in the Ciénaga? Again, remember that this is a realistic story. The animals are not talking back with Alejandro. It's just that he knows a lot about them. He talks to them, even though they don't talk back to him. I included some pictures of a Cuban gar. And here's a picture of an alligator eating one to show you the size, not just to show you terrifying pictures. This is a manatee that looks like, again, he said it's harmless because it's like a big aquatic cow. It's just a big cow that lives in the water. It eats plants, and look, they're very inoffensive and very harmless. Alejandro looks back down. He sees he's not alone on the path. A tiny crocodile lies at the edge. It's not like other crocs. It's pure white as a cloud. Are you hurt? He asks. Alejandro takes a step closer. Then he remembers, never go near a wild animal in the swamp. It's a rule he has never broken. Mama and Papi will know what to do, he says to the baby. So again, it says, remember that context clues are words that help us understand the meaning of unfamiliar words. What context clues can help you understand the meaning of the word pure in this page? He says that he finds a tiny crocodile baby and that it's not like other crocs. It is pure white as a cloud. So in this context, what other word could you use in place of pure? It's pure white. It's totally white. It's all white and no other colors. That's what he means by pure white. Again, reminding you that context clues are words in the text that help us understand what the meaning of other words are. He races home to get his parents. Minutes later, Alejandro returns with Mama and Papi. A white croc! No, I said that loud. A white croc! They both whisper, amazed. Mama makes Alejandro stand with Papi a safe distance away from the baby. Mama looks around for the baby's mother, moving carefully. She knows that a mother croc will want to protect its baby, but there are no signs of Mama Croc. I think it's hurt, calls Alejandro. What could have hurt it? Here, find the details that help us infer that Mama is being protective of Alejandro. She makes them stay a safe distance away from the baby. And she also looks around for the baby's mother, moving carefully. She knows that it's very seldom, or it doesn't happen often, that you find a baby by itself. Usually their mothers are nearby. It's important that you would be careful to come close to a baby. Its mother may be by. So Alejandro's mom is looking for the mother crocodile. Just remember, when we're inferring something, we're just taking the clues from the text to understand something. Infer could mean understand. Again, making inferences, we're taking the text clues and what we already know to make an inference. And that's what we do when we're reading. We make inferences about the text. Without its mother, almost anything could have happened, says Papi. Poor baby. I want to help it heal. Can I keep it? Alejandro starts to beg. No, Ale. Wild animals are not pets. But Dr. Fernanda can help, says Papi. He helps Mama pick up the weak crocodile. Of course, says Alejandro. Let's take Cocoliso to her right now. So again, what details in the text show you that Alejandro cares about Cocoliso? We can look at his face there, see that he's excited. We have him begging his parents here to let him take it home and take care of it. Although his parents know Dr. Fernanda would be much better than Alejandro taking care of the baby. Mama and Poppy scoop up the baby into Mama's hat. Cocoliso, a flat crocodile? Mama laughs. This little guy might be unusual, but he isn't really flat. No, says Alejandro, but he looks a little flat, and he's white. Cocoliso looks like a crocodile made out of white paper, says Alejandro. Mama and Poppy both laugh. It's a good name for this crocodile. Here I had to use context clues because I didn't really understand Cocoliso. This is a word that they use in Cuba. Liso is a word that means smooth, like paper. So here we have some details that tell us why he chooses the name Cocoliso for the crocodile. And I can really hone in on that if I can just find the two adjectives he uses to describe it. He says it's flat, and he says it's white. Like a piece of paper. Flat and white. Because it's little. And when it's laying down, it looks like it's kind of flat. Not as flat as a piece of paper, though. At the clinic, Dr. Fernanda looks carefully at Cocoliso. Alejandro has many ideas for how to help. I can build him a little house with a pool. I can help him make friends with the other crocodiles. Slow down, Alejandro, laughs Dr. Fernanda. This is a crocodile, not a little brother. One thing is for sure, though. We are all very fortunate that you found this little guy. White crocodiles are very rare, and there are only a few of them in the whole world. Then I've made a great discovery, says Alejandro. Why is Alejandro so eager to take care of Cocoliso? What can you infer about Alejandro's character? Again, we could tell he's very excited, and he cares for the little animal. He must be a very caring, generous person when it comes to animals, and probably other people too. But yeah, he is willing to give up his time to help the little animal. So I would say yes, he's very caring and loving towards Cocoliso. Yes, you have, replies the doctor. Scientists from all over will be grateful for the chance to study Cocoliso. Alejandro feels proud. Suddenly the swamp doesn't seem so boring. Maybe your name and picture will be in the newspapers in Cienfuegos, laughs Poppy. Who knows? Maybe in the capital city of Havana, says Alejandro. He's pointing at the map, talking about the other places he's going to go. And I guess that's another reason why his face looks the way it does. He is now not bored, not serious. He's excited. He's really enthused about helping this little alligator or little crocodile, but also he's excited about getting out of the park and getting to visit other places. So explain why Alejandro feels proud on this page, and explain how Alejandro's feelings about his home have changed in the story. Again, at the beginning, Alejandro was bored because he wanted to go to Cienfuegos and to see an airport. He wants to go be an airplane pilot. But now, at the end of the story, now Alejandro is excited to go see Cocoliso at the clinic. And that's why I say that this Dr. Fernanda is an important character in the story. I'm going to give you a few minutes to read this page. You can go ahead and pause it, and then after reading, try to explain why Alejandro's running around the room with his arms out like an airplane. You could kind of just infer that information by looking at the picture. But again, at first he was bored, and now we know he's not bored at all. He's very excited. Same thing here. Please pause, give yourself a chance to read the text. And think about why are Mommy or Mama and Poppy surprised in paragraph 54. What can you infer about the ending of the story? Why is everyone so happy? Don't forget to go to the Google Classroom under classwork, and it'll be under reading that you'll find Cocoliso Part 2. The video will be right here beside it. Don't forget to answer the questions with complete sentences, please. I'll see you next time.